Good afternoon, everyone. I am Frank Jarosinski, Lieutenant Colonel. I am the Group 2 Commander in the Maryland Wing, and this is session 10, and it will be on communications. I will mute all the mics except for the presentator, and also to remind you to turn off your camera so that we don't see you on the screen. Also, the chat room will be used for questions and answers after the session or for any technical issues you may see. When you do the chat room, please state your name, rank, and unit for identification purposes. I will also, at the end of the session, there will be a survey. I will have it in the chat room for you to go to get credit. You need to do it for get credit for this conference. So I'd like to introduce the presenter, it's Lieutenant Colonel Mike Starr, and he's the Maryland Wing Director of Communications. Sir, it's your game.
All right, well, thank you, Frank. Okay, is anyone picking up that echo, or are we okay on the audio?
It's there, but it's very faint.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I think I'm just going to kill that thing. There we go. All right, so I unfortunately can't see when you wave hands or anything, but welcome and thank you. This is something I always look forward to every year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do it last year because we had the national conference, so it's been 2 years since I've been able to give a presentation like this. The in-person ones I always enjoy because actually we always seem to get into some very good discussions toward the end of my presentation, and I generally end up continuing them past the session, out in the hallway and so forth. So hopefully I see a lot of familiar names on the attendee list, but also see some new names. So would like to get to know you, and unfortunately not being in person, that may be a challenge. I'm actually up at Wing headquarters today, so helping out with the IT stuff, making sure that we have enough network bandwidth and that we get everything going. And fortunately, the network seems to be holding up pretty good. So I do want to, as I traditionally do try to get some tickler things for discussions. I do want to have this as a two-way discussion. So hopefully, I think Frank, you muted everyone, but I think people can unmute themselves individually as we raise questions. Is that right, Frank, or how are we going to do that?
That is correct, or you can do them too if you can see them. Okay.
So yeah, if you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll, again, I don't mind if I just throw away this whole presentation and we get into something that's good that everyone can appreciate. So first thing I wanted to do was sort of share some of the things that National is bringing on, new technology. One of the big things that we're excited about is something that we're going to call, that's being called ReadyOps, and I think ReadyOps is the name of a commercial product. Apparently Arizona Wing, I think it was Arizona Wing, implemented this, and National was so impressed with it that they decided to roll it out nationwide. So we were a test site a year ago, and they wanted to set us up in preparation for the national conference last year as sort of a demo site. So we did get one unit in, and they decided we're going to try to, in the next year, deploy it with every repeater. So essentially what it is we plug an interface using an old radio that we plug into an Ethernet connection, and there's a little smart unit that connects to it. And what you can do is, with an app on your smartphone or tablet, you can then connect into this unit and operate essentially operate the repeater through this radio. And it's actually working very impressively. Again, it's to have every repeater in the country connected. So it's interesting, as I said, we've set this up on our weekly VHFNets. We've actually had people check in from Montgomery, Alabama, using the system, and really you can, unless they let us know that they're using ReadyOps, we don't even know that they're not coming in by radio. So the initial deployment of this is again every repeater, and they do want to space out some simplex units so that you can do air traffic and ground traffic and so forth. And the initial deployment of the app will be for the incident commanders, and then they're gonna probably go out from there. So this is what the ReadyOps app sort of looks like, and I took a screenshot. I did want to demo it, but we were told that really it's don't try to do any live videos or anything or so forth. So I just took a screenshot of it. So hopefully my mouse is showing up here. So one of the things is that you can monitor 2 of these units at the same time. So and I've got a list of some of the units in the area. Actually, I brought up the Mid-Atlantic stations that are showing deployment right now. And as you see, it's very minute. We're very early into it. So, you got the DC repeaters, Maryland, Virginia. And really all you do is once you set this up, it's interesting. I can set this up, put my cell phone or my smartphone in my pocket, and it just runs in the background, and every once in a while it would light up and I could hear people talking. And the push to talk is you just take your mouse or your finger and you just press the little button here, and it turns green and then it turns red as you're receiving. So very, very simple product there. And what I wanted to do is show you the unit. I just as I said, I'm up here at Wing headquarters today, so just snapped this picture of the unit, about an hour ago. So as I said, it's a regular EF Johnson radio. We got the microphone pulled out of it. It's only programmed for one frequency, one repeater. So they do a separate unit program for every repeater. And here's the up top is the core of the unit. As you see, it's got a all we do is plug the Ethernet power, and there's a connector that connects into the radio itself. And that's, as I said, the height of simplicity. Just set it up and you're good to go. And it just sort of sits there unattended. And as you come in, it does the push to talk and receive and everything else. Any questions or comments? And we're fortunate actually to have Captain Sam Hoover on the, I saw him on here. He's actually on the national team. He's part of Maryland Wing, but he got appointed to the national team for this deployment for, all the testing and so forth. So if we have any really difficult questions, he's fortunately here to help us. So any?
Yeah, Colonel Starr, I just wanted to say that I've used the ReadyOps app. I've done accessibility testing on it, or still continue to do accessibility testing, and it works really well. It's the only thing I would say is that if you are using your smartphone or your tablet, there is the audio is only as good as the speaker on your device, and so I find that sometimes for you to really hear the radio well or the internet back well, you have to really turn up your device. It's also very difficult, if not impossible, to hear the repeater tail when you unkey. So if that's something that you rely on to know what's going on, obviously, I would use audio cues to know what's going on. That is something that's a little lacking on the ReadyOps side, but there's nothing, other than that. I would say it's really great, and I think once it's deployed completely, maybe the days of ground teams having issues getting into a repeater because of wherever they happen to be will be gone as long as the device has internet coverage.
Oh, very good. Yeah, and I guess they originally deployed this as a digital set, which would have really made hearing the tail impossible. So they did switch us over to analog, but yeah, I anticipate they'll probably eventually go over to pure digital.
And actually, that is a message that came out across the DC list a couple of weeks ago from National, is that any new ready op systems that are deployed, I think, are supposed to be put into digital mode, but because the radio will be set for mixed mode, it will, if you transmit on analog from the radio side, not from the internet side, it will switch over to analog so that a ready op user could talk to them.
Right.
Colonel Starr, Lieutenant Courtney Smith has a question.
Yeah, I know John, Major Pax has mentioned, oh, sorry, I got your rank wrong, apologies, about the accessibility of the ReadyOps app. Would it be possible for me to also test it?
I guess Major Pax, I guess you got the in on the accessibility, so I guess you'd be the best one to address that.
Yeah, so I think Captain Hoover's here as well. The licensing is limited. I was very fortunate that that Captain Hoover was kind enough to work some deals to get me in, but I do understand that the reason why they are limiting the amount of folks that test it, accessibility or otherwise, is because of the amount of licensing that they currently have available. So Lieutenant Smith, Lieutenant Ritz, I can talk to you offline about the accessibility testing. There are issues. The buttons are not quite labeled properly for the screen reader, but you know, with a little finagling, you can sort of figure it out. It could be better, but it's certainly usable enough for the time being.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, Colonel Starr, Captain Kellogg, I had a question for you. Actually, I've not. This is the first I've heard of this, and you know me, I'm an active communicator. But how long do they expect until this will be rolled out like throughout Maryland Wing, for example?
I would think that it's going to take us throughout the year here. They wanted I had to submit, do a survey. Every wing had to do a survey as to where we're going to deploy it, and there were some strict requirements on this. It had to be, you know, in a locked facility, limited access. You know, they preferred something that had backup power, you know, et cetera. We're actually deploying most of these in the same location. It happens to be a government location that's 3 miles from here, you know, high towers and so forth, and they were able to reach all the way over the Cumberland. The only outliers are going to be St. Mary's, and we're going to put that one in St. Mary's Airport. And I'll do a side note on Salisbury in a bit, but we need to find, I have a location in mind on Salisbury, but I didn't put that on the spreadsheet. But just to give you the timeline, the spreadsheet needed to be submitted on November 1st. So we're very, very early in the project here. Submitted mine mid-October, so I imagine it's just a matter of the national, you know, gathering the equipment, programming it, and start deploying it. And, you know, keep in mind that they got to do this on all 52 wings.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do the caveat. Just let everyone know we don't have a repeater in Salisbury right now. Basically, the repeater itself is missing. We're trying to get the police report and so forth, trying to figure out what happened. We knew that they were decommissioning some cabinets, but and fortunately, we found another location to host the Salisbury Wicomico repeater. And again, that's where we're planning on doing the ready op deployment, but until we get the police report done, report a survey done, and so forth. That's area sort of on hold there. We were fortunate enough for the latest air show down in Ocean City that the emergency services folks down there allowed us to, actually they were nice enough to put a antenna up on top of a water tower for us for our portable repeater. And they're going to keep it there permanently. So all we have to do is whenever we're in the area and we have an active mission, we can just plug the portable repeater in it into the antenna and we're good to go. So, you know, basically 10-minute deployment. So that actually will cover that general area there, but it's just not an active repeater all the time. That's the state of the repeaters there. All right, any other questions before we move on? And again, I love these sessions because of these questions and discussions here. Technology upgrade, and this is a picture of a new radio unit up here at Wing headquarters, but the EF Johnsons that have been the mainstay that are in the vehicles, base stations up at the airports and so forth, at your squadrons. Those are being de-supported at this point, and they're doing it. That's called the Motorola APX unit, and that's what they look like. I kind of think it's neat on some of the features there for Courtney and John. When you change channels, it does voice activating. It announces what channel you've changed to. So that should be a help. So it is obviously something a little different to learn as to what you're doing with the buttons and so forth, but the fundamentals are the same. We do have 2 programming units that we're going to do, and we're going to have to decide how we want to program these sets here. We'll probably, National had recommend that we not diverge too much from the way they've got these deployed initially programmed. So right now, instead of having a Maryland Wing specific channel set, we right now have the national channel set that you just move to the zone and pick the channel. So like if you want to do the Central Maryland repeater, you just go to the zone that has, you know, and I guess you can see from the picture zone 5, which has R17 through 32 on it, and then you just then do the channel for R21. But we do need to probably go ahead and program like the Coast Guard channels and other interoperability channels in there. And I unfortunately don't have a picture, but we are having the handheld units. We received a case of 6 of them, and National requires that they all stay together, so they come in a Pelican case, foam rubber. It's very nice, and we've got it out at the MOEC unit right now, the you know, our mobile command center. So that's something that's nice for deploying for ground teams when we get into that situation. All right, any questions, comments before we move on?
What kind of squelch controls do you have on it?
It's well, I haven't really played with it. I've got it at home, but it's soft keys. So there is a you move to the key and you can open and close the squelch on it. It has, you know, you can do it to where it's not selective calling. In other words, it'll listen to any repeater on that frequency rather than, you know, just you know, so that you can sort of monitor. And of course, we'd have the scans and all that. One interesting thing on these units, and they are going to be starting to deploy these into the vehicles, and they do require, they don't allow us to put these in the vehicles. They require that you have a professional service put these in the vehicles. One of the reasons they mentioned is they've had people in the past try to put a radio in a van and they set off the airbag. So, you know, people don't know what's under the dash, so just having a professional do it. But these do have GPS in it, so that when you're on digital mode and if you have the GPS antenna in it, it will transmit your location, so it'll show up on the screens.
Sir, I will talk to, I've been talking with Major Pack about this, about these new radios. Are we still going with the idea of we're replacing them once the EF Johnson's, once a particular EF Johnson conks out?
I wish that were the case, because I've got a shelf full of EF Johnsons that are conked out, and again, they decided they can't repair them anymore just because they ran out of spare parts. Right now, I'm trading. They are allowing us on a limited basis, and I think we've gotten 5 so far, but they've been allowing us to swap a working EF Johnson for one of these. And the reason they're doing that is they want the working units because they're going to use those for deployment. So, you know, they are repurposing it. So it doesn't do them any good to swap one of these for a non-working unit.
Okay.
And Mike, Richard Horner here. Right now, iCut is based on the old EF Johnsons.
They are, yes.
Do you have any idea what time frame, if any, iCut's going to be revised for these radios?
They haven't mentioned that. I haven't heard any communications on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is a whole different beast. I would guess that you know, the main thing is for iCut is that you need to use these if you're going into the vehicles. But I guess once they start deploying, I'm just taking a wild ass guess here, but I'm going to guess once they start getting these deployed into vehicles, and that's really when you really need to push the training to be upgraded. I'm hoping, I'm going to guess they'll probably put out some sort of video, refresher video for the people that already have iCut to you know, just review through that. All righty. Way of advertisement here, VHFNets. We conduct VHFNets every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1915 local. And the reason we picked that time is a lot of squadrons like to check in from their squadron. You know, they normally have either their vehicle, or in some squadron buildings, they have a base station. And rather than interfere with opening ceremonies, we start at 15 minutes after the hour, just so that they can do their opening ceremonies and then come in and participate. The Cornet is held on R21, which is Central Maryland, but we've been really making an effort for quite a few years here that any people that can hit multiple repeaters, we ask them to make a call on adjoining repeaters. So if you're in a location that you can't hit the Central Maryland repeaters, we're going to try to reach you every night anyway, and we make a general call for any stations that need to check in on those adjoining repeaters. And of course, what that does, dual things. It tries to get more people involved, but it also gives us an opportunity to make sure that all these repeaters are up and functional and operating. Questions or comments on that?
I don't see R27 up there.
Yeah, we would love to reach R27, and I don't know if you have any suggestions, Colonel Johnson, on how we could do that.
Yeah, that's been the problem with the EF Johnsons because of the hardwired squelch. Romeo 2-1 does not have a strong enough signal to consistently break the squelch on the stations down at St. Mary's.
Yeah, yeah, and I know during good times you were able to connect to us every once in a while. Speaking of St. Mary's, I guess I should advertise that we also are kicking off a project this month to relocate that repeater to a better location. And maybe if we get that in a good location, we can get some relays down to it. But I'm trying to remember the rank. I think it's Captain Lang now, but maybe still Lieutenant Lang. But he and Mark are leading the project to get that to the new location.
I believe there was a question on chat a little while ago. Somebody in Mount Airy wanted a comm mentor. I could possibly do that if they'd give me a landline to coordinate with them offline.
Yeah, great. Thanks. That was me. I appreciate it very much.
This is Free State 48. Landline number 410-207-4601. I say again, 410-207-4601. I'm the one that does the Tuesday night nets.
Great. Thank you so much.
And that's a good point. We do have a good comm team, and you find that almost everyone is thrilled to be able to mentor someone to advance you through professional development. So yeah, be sure to reach out. One of the big things I think for senior and master is, hosting nets. And again, we just love to have people come on and be net control stations and get their advance there.
By the way, for anybody that was not watching the awards presentation, Free State 44 got Communicator of the Year.
Yes, is Major Brown on right now? I don't think I saw him earlier. Yes. Well deserved. Major Brown is one of our net control stations. He retired, and he's basically on the radio all the time on the HF, on the national nets, and he's actually one of the national net control stations.
Hey, sir, this is Captain Hoover.
Captain Hoover, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to give you a heads up. What we can do with ReadyOp for some of the repeaters that are a bit farther away from the central Maryland repeater, we can actually link the repeaters together in ReadyOp once they have a ReadyOp gateway in that repeater's footprint. So the past two nets on Tuesday and Thursday, I had R26 linked into R21. So it was actually transmitting out on both repeaters at the same time.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
Mike, Doug Lundgren, can you hear me?
Hi, Doug. Yes.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I've been in Florida down here at Florida Wing for 4 years. We have kind of an information desert down in this wing. Planning on rejoining Hagerstown Squadron by next summer. And I was just asking about the status of handheld radios, if you're going to get into that.
They are upgrading handheld radios. Said right now, we have one kit of handheld radios that they are VHF repeaters, not the ISRs, even though they're calling them ISRs. But unfortunately, they're not available for individual issue. The national requires that they stay in a kit. So I don't know later on if they're going to do individual issues, but right now, any issues that we have, and we're entitled to 2 kits, and we've got one up at the MEOC trailer for deployment, and right now we're going to have the second kit go with Captain Hoover, who will cover the Southern Maryland area.
Does that mean that they'll be issued and returned during missions?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, sir, I can kind of speak to the intent behind the way they're doing that. Is the original table of allowance allowed for 2 P25 radios, and I think it was either 4 or 6 ISRs per ground team. So what they're doing is they're doing away with the EF Johnsons and the ISRs. They're not going to be supported going forward, and they're just replacing all 6 of those. So ideally, every member of the ground team would have a P25 radio instead of having the mixed comms and having to relay messages within the ground team. Everybody can be on the same channel.
Okay, that sounds like progress. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the old ISR radios are certainly past their life. They're not going to be replaced in any way at this point.
ICOM doesn't even make them anymore.
Yeah. They've always been a pain to during inventory time every year. Well, actually, let's see. Is that the next slide? No. Okay. I've got one. I'm going to advance one slide here. As I said, the ISRs have always been a pain, at least to me. What we've had is and I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, is an old VCR case that someone put together, prior to me being here. And they were just loose radios, loose handheld ISR radios. And the ISR, in case you don't know, is inter-squad radio. It's the whole purpose of it was to communicate within the squad, and I always called it line. It worked as far as you can shout. It's wasn't much range, wasn't much farther than that. But it's good for like parking lot duties, that sort of thing, working flight ops. So close range, it's very useful. BCC borrowed them from Wing about a year ago for a program, and I hadn't had need to bring them back, so they basically went well above and beyond and built a kit. If you can see the picture, they got nice Pelican cases with the foam rubber for each slot, the batteries and so forth. So I said, man, if you put that much effort into it, would you mind just be the custodian of these? So they've agreed to that. So if you ever need an ISR kit, BCC is the group to go to.
Yeah. ICOM doesn't even support repair of them anymore.
Right. I would guess so. All righty.
Mike?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Jackie Freeze is trying to get on. Here's a question from Jackie Freeze. I don't seem to be able to make my question audible. Question, are the new Motorola APX radios available for personal purchase? And I think she's listening.
Hey, sir, this is Captain Hoover. I can kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I could also speak to that as well.
So I talked to the guys up at National, to Mal Kaiser, and the CAP IDIQ contract that the Motorola radios were bought on can be leveraged by individual squadrons if they want to purchase radios. I've seen the pricing on it; it's pretty good. But for personal purchase of the radios, you can, if you purchase it through the IDIQ contract, it has to come from a CAP unit. If you want to do it personal on your own hook, you have to go through an outside means. So because you can't purchase it through that IDIQ contract. You can get the same type of radio, but CAP isn't going to support that radio as an organization. That's not to say that there are certain members that have the ability to program those radios. They can do it. And if you need to have some radios programmed or anything, questions like that, I'm willing to help as necessary or as I can within reason.
And so, yeah, if anyone does want to purchase one, reach out to me for personal use if they don't want to use the IDIQ contract. I can get you in touch with the Motorola dealer. Keep in mind, the price that I can get them for is definitely not the cost that you probably would get through the IDIQ. Captain Hoover, I can get them for about $5 or $6 grand. Are they beating that?
Yes, the APX for an APX 4000 with the standard CAP code plug, it is significantly less than.
Okay, so if you want to spend $5,000 or $6,000, I know someone who will be more than happy to take it. The problem with Motorola, if you want your own programming software, is they will sell you the software, but they will make you take a course that basically tells you what you can and cannot do with the software and the intellectual agreements you're entering with Motorola regarding programming their radios. It's kind of a pain in the butt unless you really want to take that course, which is like 8 or 9 hours, I think, was when I took it. I would suggest, buy your own radio and then have or ask kindly someone in Wing to program it for you if that's truly what you would like to do.
So this is Captain Hoover again. For anybody who's interested in purchasing a personal radio, you can feel free to contact me offline through email. My email is samuel.hoover@mdwg.cap.gov. Just shoot me an email and we can talk about it, and I will, within reason, help you out with programming and give you some guidance on purchasing a radio that meets you.
And Mike, for Mr. Lundgren, do we have any visors left?
You're asking who?
I'm asking Mike Starr for benefit of the person that's in Florida that's going to be joining Hagerstown.
Yes.
Was looking for a personal handheld.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do we have any visors left?
I guess we haven't been issuing them, and we've been really holding them for encampment. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to think about that.
Okay, but I just thought it's an offline possibility.
Yeah. Actually, our visors have been. We basically lose. As far as functioning, that they are very old and they're failing on us at encampment. So we have been actually looking at trying to figure out how to replace those to make sure we have enough radios during encampment. And of course, we skipped encampment this year, so I don't know what the condition of those are.
And Colonel Starr, if you want some general cheapy but decent radios for encampment without a lot of fancy screens and many channels, but a 16-channel radio, let me know. I can probably get you a bulk of those at a decent
Okay, yeah, we probably do need that. Yeah.
Hey, sir, this is Captain Hoover again. After inauguration, I've got some XTS 5000s I'm probably going to be looking to access from my guard unit, so we might be able to transfer them to the wing if that's something that you're interested in.
Oh yeah, and I hadn't even thought about those because we did pick up a bunch of XTS 5000s, and actually we used them for encampment last year. They're a lot heavier than the visors, of course, but it's definitely would probably do the job for ground teams. Yeah. All right, so that's good to hear, Captain Hoover. All righty, keep an eye on time. Actually, we only got, I guess, 10 minutes left here. So I'm glad to guess we've got this discussion going on here. All right, just general knowledge, something new that's been put out this month by National. We got a new pro word here called tri-blade. Instead of going on the radio and saying any station or calling all stations, just go tri-blade, 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 and it indicates any or all CAP stations are being hailed. So if you hear that, you know, I guess just know the meaning of that. And I think that's the end of my formal presentation. So as I said, appreciate the conversations here. So it looks like we got about 10 minutes for open discussions before my time runs out.
Yeah. Colonel,
Starr,
sorry, John.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay, Colonel. Oh,
go ahead, John.
Go ahead. Okay. So just as a reminder, there was an email sent out, and a couple of emails over the last few weeks regarding if anyone needs MRO or CUL renewals, please contact me and I will work with you on using the monthly training number and discussing the tasks so that we can re-up you on your MRO and CUL, not for trainee status, but it's just to renew it. The major focus here is that we do not want people's certifications to expire due to COVID and the lack of participation situation kind of deal. So reach out to me so that we can keep your mission currency. And that the email will have, or the email from Wing will have my personal email address that you can reach out to me on, and we can work the issue.
Thank you, Major Pack.
Yeah, Colonel Starr, just also wanted to let you know that Major Pack has cleared me to start teaching ICUT. So if anyone needs help, however, given the COVID pandemic and my high vulnerability to the virus, I'm probably going to wait until we have a vaccine.
All right, and what one of the things that I've been talking about doing this, and unfortunately haven't been following through with it, is we should be able to do some virtual training on the ICUT and virtual training on you know, really anything but the ICUT and so forth. I do have a simulator so that you can, you know, rather than, you know, having to be on the radio, you can you know, show you how to do the dials. It was something put out by Texas Wing, and then just try to pass radio communications or simulated radio communications through you know, Team Viewer or something like that. It'd be nice if I guess if we have a group setting so that you could pass the traffic, virtual traffic across multiple people.
Yeah, Major Pack, I believe you had discussed that option with me, sir.
So basically, I suggested that we were going to try to plan that out. I've spoken to Colonel Starr, and that we'll try to plan that out at some point. And I'm sorry, Colonel Starr, Major Brown has his hand raised.
Okay.
I thought he had his hand raised. Okay.
Oh, you know what? He did send me a text message saying that I think it was saying his audio is not working. It's flashed by here. It says my mic is not working. Please add me to the attendance list. So I'm guessing that's probably what he's trying to say here.
Okay.
Major Pack, we also got someone else here with said they need to get MRO. And I believe you are MRO skills evaluator trained.
So anyone who needs to re-up their MRO or up their CUL can contact me. For trainee statuses, you know, my position is, and of course, Colonel Starr can adjust that position for me if need be, but my goal is to make sure that mission current folks don't expire. I'm not too much worried about the trainees as much as the current mission qualified folks.
Understood.
Okay. Other questions?
Somebody's done the MRO stuff. His unit communications officer should be able to sign him off.
Oh, no, not on MRO. MRO has requirements that you've been an MRO at least a year. You have to be certified by the wing ES officer, SETI, and so forth. So yeah, it's not like the ICUT that the MRO is very strict on who can certify.
Lieutenant Colonel Starr, you have 5 minutes, and then I have to shut you down.
Okay. Does anyone have a 4-minute question?
I have one other question, sir. In regards to the iCut, is there an easier way to show to see who has iCut without having to go through each individual record in the squadron?
There's a report, e-services report under operations, where you can print out everyone in your unit and their status as far as iCut.
Okay.
If you're unable to get it, send me an email and I'll pull it for you and send it in PDF format.
Thank you, Colonel.
Yeah, I think that's under Ops Quals reports.
Yeah.
Is there an equivalent mailing list for communications the way there is for pilots?
No, I wish there were. I wish there were. There's times when I've had to send out a communications people, and unless someone can correct me, because it's always been a very heavy manual process for me to pull a list of everyone that's like MRO and CUL qualified, and then the way I do it is I print out the spreadsheet of it, then try to grab the column that has the email addresses and try to build a mailing list off of that. So it's yeah, I'm not aware of any easier way to do that.
And by the time you get the list built, it's obsolete.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Colonel Jarosinski, I went to try to access your survey and I couldn't find it. It said the link was broke.
I sent the post survey at 2:43. Use it. Try that one. At 2:43 p.m.
Okay, hold on. And yeah, all right. Thank you, sir.
All righty. I guess.
All right,
Colonel,
2
how do
minutes.
you access this survey?
Go ahead. Go.
How
Last
do we
question.
access the survey? How do we access the survey?
I sent it the link at about 2:43 on the chat session. Should be able to click it. It's HTTPS link at 2:43 p.m.
Sir, did you send one for the legal briefing? Because I didn't get one.
Yes, I did. Does everybody see the survey? Oh, there you go. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It was a great community chat. That was great. All right. Thank you. The next session will be at 1500 hours. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.